video, I'm going to show you the magic of personal reality, understanding how to go beyond the ordinary, and how when you do this, it changes everything. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to go beyond the ordinary and how to create your life to be magical. Maybe you've seen me before. Maybe you've seen me on Instagram talking about that of Harry Potter and how much I like Harry Potter and how when I read the books Harry Potter and then after the series I was like, oh, I gotta live in this world without magic, or so I thought. And it was kind of sad. I was like 15 years old and I was like, oh man, I gotta go live with all these muggles, no magic. I remember for a while I got really excited and I got a stick in my backyard. I was young. I got a stick and I was like pretending I could do magic and stuff like that. But guess what? Years later, I realized that magic is something you can create in your life when you learn how to let go of the subconscious and the beliefs that hold you back from experiencing more. Now let me explain what I mean by that. The Harry Potter stuff, kind of a metaphor, although I think that in one reality, Harry Potter may exist, that type of reality, which would be really cool, which is like, why am I not there right now? But I digress. Anyways, when it comes to understanding the magic of reality, the first thing to understand is that your reality will be consistent to the way that you define it. So how do you define reality? I remember one time I read a book by Tony Robbins, and in it he talks about there's this called Awaken the Giant Within. In it there is this one chapter where he talks about what are your metaphors for life. Like your metaphors for life are going to control how you experience your life. For example, do you think that your life is an uphill battle? Because if that's the metaphor you use, think about it, that's a metaphor. It's like uphill battle, like going uphill, it's really hard. Do you think that reality is hard in general? Life is not meant to be easy. Do you feel like you're just trying to make $1 out of 15 cents? Do you feel like that? Because if you say it habitually, and you even think about that metaphor, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, it seems like you have to stretch that 15 cents like by 7 or 8 times. That's a lot. And it's like, that's gonna be hard, you know? And if you're constantly living, I remember I used to always walk around and be like, yo man, how you doing? What's going on, bro? And someone would be like, dude, good man, I'm just trying to make $1.50. I'm like, bro, why are you trying to do that? I'm like, yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. I bet you're at the 7-Eleven trying to get a Gatorade and it's $1 and you only have 15 cents and you're like trying to get the Gatorade and they're like, no, you still need like 85 cents more. So this is about being aware of the definitions you have about reality because they may be limiting you. So how do you define reality? Now, let me kind of share with you how I define reality. I think reality is magical. That's kind of why I'm making this video, because I think that reality is magical. I think that reality is also kind of like a dream. So I also define reality as a dream because guess why? When you define reality as a dream, it's more flexible. If you define reality as solid and fixed and only capable of matter and you have to measure everything and everything has to be scientifically proven, if that's how you define reality, then guess what? Your reality can only show up in certain ways. It can't be that magical because everything is the way it is and I gotta understand it from a logical point of view and I gotta be able to measure it. So all of these things end up making a limited skew of reality. Now, so when we look at this, it's like, how do you define reality? Back to the original question. Here's another powerful way of looking at reality. I think reality is kind of like a form of dream. Can you think that reality is like a form of dream? Okay, wait, I said, sorry. Reality is like a game. Here, that's why I was going with that. Reality is like a game. Think of it like a game, like it's something fun, right? When you're playing a game, it's normally a fun game. You know, you can be playing Sims where like you make people walk around and go into the living room and then they're like, oh, I'm in the living room, I'm gonna bring you to the kitchen. Oh, you're in the kitchen, you're gonna make some oatmeal. Oh, you made some oatmeal, go take the kids to school. Some people like that, Sims. Or maybe you're playing like Donkey Kong. I played Donkey Kong back in the day. That was fun. Life is a game. Life is like, and with a game you can kind of hack it too. Not hack it, like you don't need to get like cheat codes, or you could get cheat codes. You know, it's like square, square, circle, circle, left one, L1, and then all of a sudden you have like a tank in your Mario or I don't know, whatever. And the idea behind that is that there's ways of figuring out the game so that you do it in your favor. So in a way, that makes it more fun too. But if people think reality is hard and things don't come easily and I'm a victim of circumstance, then that is going to be their reality. Our definitions about life itself creates a reality. I've been talking about this a lot lately because instead of us looking at the individual beliefs that we have about money, success, relationships, health, instead of those individual beliefs, like I believe I can have like 10% body fat and this and that, and I believe I'm gonna let go of this old belief. And instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna believe that I can make $100,000 a year instead of $50,000 a year, instead of all of those beliefs, what about your beliefs about reality itself? Like those are individual beliefs like relationships, money, health. How about reality itself? What are your beliefs about it? So that's what I'd like to ask you to become aware of, because if you want to make your life more magical, you have to start defining life as magical. And in order to experience magic in your life, like synchronicity, which is a natural byproduct of the way reality works, by the way, synchronicity is the understanding that everything is happening at the same moment. Everything is happening right now. Your perception of it can then see how this now moment connects together. And you may say, well, I was just thinking about this kind of person, and this person popped into my life. I was just thinking about how I wanted to go watch this movie, and then I go somewhere and the movie's playing, somebody wants me to go watch it with them. These little things, we're like, oh, we brush them off. Like, oh, that's just coincidence. That stuff just happens. However, it's a natural byproduct for the way reality works. Our thoughts correlate with our experience. So when we become aware of that, it becomes very powerful, because then we can go in the direction that we want, and we can see that magic that's already there. So things in your life can be more magical the more you pay attention to the synchronicity, not just the coincidence, oh, this happened. Everything is synchronicity. It's just how aware of you of what you're thinking. Most people are just in the autopilot mind. So this is where we're going to have to talk about the autopilot mind. Dr. Joe Dispenza, all right? He's a guy that wrote a couple books. One's called How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. I saw that title in the sauna once when someone was reading it. I was like, why do you want to not be yourself? Don't you want to be yourself? But his point in it, it's actually a really good book. His point in it is that who we think we are is a habitualized set of thought patterns. He's talking about the ego. We think, this is who I am. This is what I can do. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions will always be equal to our reality, or our reality will be equal to our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Most people just stay in the autopilot mind. They're thinking the same things every day. They're feeling the same emotions every day. They're doing the same actions every day. And because of that, they create the same experiences every single day. Now, here's the thing. You cannot create anything new from that same level of thinking. So the level of thinking that gets up on the same side of the bed every day, that goes and brushes the teeth with the same type of way, thinking about similar thoughts, takes the same route to work, goes and talks to the same coworkers, have similar conversations, do similar things every day, that habitualized way of thinking is only going to create more of the same. So if you want to go beyond that of the ordinary, to go beyond that way you think, feel, and act, you must be willing to go beyond all of those things, and you must make the choice to do it. It's really that simple, to be honest with you. Make the choice. You say, this is my reality. This is what Dr. Joe Dispenza says. Your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality is a combination of what you think, how you feel, and how you act. If you continue to do these three things over and over and over again, you will continue to create the same results over and over and over again. If you step outside of that by doing something new, thinking new thoughts, by doing something new as well, you could take new action. You could also feel something new. Once you do one of these, also normally the other things will link up. So if you do something you've never done before, you're now thinking of new thoughts, and you're also feeling a little bit of uncertainty, so that kind of fearfulness comes in, or that excitedness comes in, whatever it is. But once you push through it, then you've expanded your own comfort zone. You also expand your self-image. Think about that. If you have a self-image that says, this is my box, this is my personality, this is who I am, and you do something beyond that, you've then expanded your self-image. If you're normally very shy and you feel weird about being around people, and you say, you know what, that's like a way I've always thought, felt, and acted. I'm going to go beyond that. So you take little action. You start smiling at people that you walk by. You start engaging in conversation with other people. And then as you start to do that, guess what? You start to change the way you see yourself. You then go from seeing yourself as somebody that is shy, not able to talk to people, like, well, I now changed my self-image a little bit. I've gone beyond that personality structure of how I thought, felt, and act, and I can now be a little bit more open. I can now be a little bit more myself, and I've redefined it. So your self-image also has a powerful impact over that of the kind of reality that you experience. Now, reality really is meant to be something that is fun. Reality is meant to be something that is a very cool experience. Yes, there's going to be learning in it, but this is about having the awareness that reality is what we believe to be true. Things in our life are self-fulfilling prophecies. So whatever you think to be true is going to be reflected back to you. So back to the first question, what do you believe to be true about reality? I was going to try to rhyme that, but didn't really work. So for this process, be aware of what that is. I choose, here's my quote, this is a quote I've been saying for a while. The more you realize that your life is a form of dream, the more dream-like your life will become. I'm going to say that one more time. The more you realize that your life is a form of dream, is the more dreamlike your life will become. The more that you re-emphasize that reality is rigid, very solid, the more that your reality will be that way. So how do you let go of those old beliefs? By going within and knowing who you are. By going in and seeing what are your current self-fulfilling prophecies. And I'm not even saying you have to believe that life is a dream. I'm saying just let go of the belief that life is solid, fixed, and things only happen if you really, really try and you're a victim of circumstance or all these other things. So just be aware of what that is. So how can you, and what are some practical steps you can take to make your reality more magical? You can first off start to trust the universe more. If you have something that's on your mind, something that's bothering you, give it up to your higher mind, the larger consciousness aspect of you, and ask for a solution to come into your life. Ask for something to happen. Ask for something to be figured out. When you go to bed at night, set the intention as you're going to bed at night to experience more of life being like a fun game, dream, magical. Set that intention, because when you go to bed at night, here's the thing. This is why this is such a powerful technique. When you go to bed at night, you are drifting from the more awake states into the more sleep states. And the more awake states are the alpha state, the beta and alpha state, which are the awake brainwave states, and then you go into the theta state as you're falling asleep. The theta state is where the subconscious mind is. When you are drifting off to sleep, that is when you have this window of opportunity to influence the subconscious mind, about a half an hour before. Now, the subconscious mind speaks in the form of emotion. So as you're going to bed, feel the emotion of how exciting life is, of how life is like a dream, of how things are more flexible than you priorly thought, of how magical things are, and then feel that emotion as you go to bed and watch how your life begins to change. Here's the thing though, you must do that consistently. Sometimes people are like, oh, the sleep technique, it's really cool. I did it once and got some results, but then they don't do it consistently. Do it consistently, it works. Feel the emotions that you want to experience right when you are going to bed at night, as you're falling asleep. And as you do that, you will start to influence your subconscious mind in a powerful way. Now, that's one way you could do it. The other thing you could do is just to simply become aware of what your current self-image is, of what you are currently thinking, feeling, and acting, and simply make the choice to do something new. That is what Dr. Joe Dispenza said, is you cannot create something new from the known. You have to step onto the unknown. So you have to do something you haven't done before. Maybe it's something like taking, something small at first, taking a new route to work where it starts to rewire your brain, because now you're not just seeing the same things every day. Oh, this is a new route to work. Leave a little bit earlier, see how that goes. It's a little step you could take. These little steps add to momentum. Make the choice that you are going to do something that the old personality wouldn't do. You may have said, oh, well, I want to be healthier. Well, the current version of me eats unhealthy food. Well, start to make a choice to go to a healthy restaurant, to go to some nutrition class, to go and get a gym membership. That is going to reaffirm a new reality. That's going to be into the unknown. Your reality will become more magical because you're doing something the old personality wouldn't do. So make a choice to do something that you have never done before. As you do all of these things, what you'll find is that then you begin to become this new version of you. Reality really is meant to be magical. The more that you begin to believe that reality is magical, is the more that your life will be magical. Because you will start to see it in your life. This is about being aware of your beliefs about reality itself and starting to break it down. You know, they've even proven that 99.9% of everything that we touch and feel is made up of empty space. There's a quantum physicist that said that it's a funny thing because everything that we think of as real is made up of non-real elements. and it's 99.9% space, but yet it feels very real. But when you become aware of that, you realize that quantum physics also says that the more you know about quantum physics, the more you realize that we don't know anything about reality. So the reason I'm saying all this is to help break apart your beliefs about reality so that you can let go of the things that no longer serve and you can start to wire in this new way of being. So, first off, just know that you are more powerful than you can imagine. Your beliefs about reality are influencing your reality. Begin to let go of what doesn't serve and start to embrace more of who you are. You are magical. And the more you start to tap into that, the more you start to act out of the old personality and you start to do and be the kind of person you prefer, the more your reality will become magical for you. So, with that being said, if you want that meditation I was talking about going to bed at night, I've made a very powerful meditation. It's called The Feeling is the Secret, which is the name of the book that I read about that. It's called Feeling is the Secret. It's a meditation that I have below. It's very powerful. Listen to it for 21 days and watch how your life begins to change. As you're going to bed at night, listen to it. It's going to be in the top of the description box below. And put your hands over your heart when you do that as well, and watch how your life begins to change. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. I'm in LA right now with Leora Alexandra, and I've been doing live Q&As with her. If you want to see live Q&As, and I'll be traveling a lot, I'll be doing more Q&As with other influencers and stuff. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram right here. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification here so that you can see the daily vids that I do. That's why YouTube does it now. You have to hit that button to see the daily vids. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.